Welcome to this episode of The Simone Frequency, a channeled podcast for the new earth. I'm your host, Trish Simone Wild, and this is going to be the last episode of the first season as we leave behind the shedding of the wood snake and moving into the fire horse. There is a lot going on in our world right now, and sometimes I try to figure out if I can contribute in some way, even though it might not change everything, but at least the way I'm moving through the world in some small way makes a difference. And, some of the things I do after experiencing losing everything in hurricanes and just learning more about consumerism and how things are made and human rights violations, and then also just realizing like you could spend all this money on something new, and the next day lose it all to the elements. Like things about flooding and hurricanes, nothing stops water; it just comes in. I've been working on a couple of series of videos since experiencing Hurricanes Matthew and Florence. I'll share the links to you for you in the podcast notes on those two works after losing my house twice. And one of the things that I've realized that I've learned I'm struggling with is I complex PTSD around a lot of things. But one of the issues is a trust in stable housing, having had housing instability for quite a few years since then, with a lot of health issues. I've lived communally for a number of years, and while in some ways I love that, it meant never truly owning a space. And then when I did own it, it was lost to uh, natural disasters, and then failure on the part of North Carolina to distribute any of their FEMA funds. There's a lot of research on that are in the notes of what water taught me, and I'll provide those links. So some of the things I do is I shop used, and when I am shopping new, I go with local small run. Like a lot of the clothes I wear from Forest Inc. When I shop, I try to shop fair trade as much as I can. And sometimes people are like, "That's more expensive." That's true. Why I shop used a lot of the times for almost anything I wear. This is used. Um, so shopping used is one small way to tread a little bit lightly on our earth, and part of that is out of necessity for me to be able to afford the kind of food I need to eat, because my body is so sensitive to everything with chemicals and things in it. As part of why I'm here is to kind of expose how many of our bodies are being poisoned by poisons in our food, in the earth, and how animals are raised, and how our just the chemicals, so many chemicals. It's literally like a poison, and then immune system isn't working properly. In my case, my genetically, the motherfucker MTHFR gene doesn't work in me, so I can't detox things. I can't get it out of my body. And so when I talked a lot about that in episode 3. Then the other things that has happened is I have had a remote day job for the last 3.5 years, over on the tech world in the Matrix, that I was laid off from, along with a lot of people are getting laid off left and right now. So my last day was the last day of December. So, I'm making a go of trying to find work that's meaningful in the world, and doing this and trying to make everything work for the next year, and, you know, trusting the universe that I am creating consciously the new earth that I want for all of us to live in. The way this old earth has been working, it doesn't work. It's not working. We have to create this new earth. There's people, beings out there, humanoid beings out there that are ready to help us if we ask, but we're still going to have to create it because Earth is our world. There's also other beings that don't want us to know how capable we are of freeing in this new Earth. They'd rather see us divided because it works in their favor. I've studied theology and spirituality. I really got into it around seventh grade, around the same time. I was also learning a lot about how animals are treated in the world and how to live differently, and um, how animals were treated in our mass-produced consumer industry versus, how animals were revered and used for all their pieces and parts, and they lived in healthy, beautiful conditions in the wild, or just with more reverence. We do not treat each other with reverence, let alone the earth, the living earth on which we tread, and the animals in which we are cohabitating with. Humans have to realize where we fit in the larger web of life, and that when we act, it creates a ripple in that web that filters out into the rest of the universe. And, some people were like, well, why would they want to help us? And we have to realize we are very powerful beings, and what we do here on our planet creates ripple effects into the other planets. So if we in our own lives are working from a high frequency of tread lightly, do not harm, and treat everything and everyone with reverence, then that is the frequency that grows like a ripple effect out into the rest of our community, and then our Earth community, and then our galactic community. And I don't know exactly what the message that's going to be channeled through is, but that is what was coming to me to talk about. So I guess we'll see what's next on this episode of the Simone Frequency. I'm going to drop into channeling now. As always, I'm not going to edit, so you can see what it's like for me to do all this. Because part of this is also teaching, by teaching you what the experience is like and trying to talk you through it, and not trying to just close my eyes and go from Trish to channeling. So you can see it does take longer. It's a process. And always what I'm trying to do is raise my frequency, and I do that by picturing the image that I draw, and you see this image show up in all my artwork. Working to allow myself to drop into a deeper state and surrender the need to remember or control words perfectly. Picturing image. I ask my guides to come in and convey messages, and allow myself to be an open channel. No need to rush. Relax. It will be very important for Trish to become comfortable with live feeds soon. We would ask of her to find a suitable platform in which she does live streaming, as you call it, of our messaging so that the disconnect of time between the message and the recording that she is doing gets posted. We want to eliminate this gap between the time that the message is being delivered to you so that it comes to you in a live format, such as your YouTube or some other suitable format in which there is a live viewing available. We want to make sure that you receive our message completely and immediately. This will become more important because we will soon be able to find ways to come to all of you more and more directly, and we don't want you to be afraid of what when we do that. And then so therefore we need her to not be afraid that she can't remember everything that she is saying because we will be talking faster and she needs to slow us down in order to remember everything that we are saying, and she worries too much about that. So what we are asking her to do is become more and more comfortable with going deeper and deeper into the trance so that she does not need to be completely consciously aware of everything she says or need to try to remember it or make sense of it or put a caveat to it. She always wants to put a caveat to it. She wants to make sure she's explaining it more clearly on human terms. She wants to translate it for you because that is what she has become as a teacher, as somebody who breaks down many, many complex informations and then sends it out to you. And it's ways that are small bites are easier for you to understand. Scaffolding, like a spear, spiral, or circle is what she is trained to do, but we need to her know that she needs to trust you, that when you find her, she doesn't need to break it down for you and scaffold it for you, but that you will be able to comprehend what you are experiencing and that you are wise and brave enough to do so, and that she does not have to constantly intercede and try to protect you or try to break down to you or try to make it easier for you to comprehend because what we are telling you is difficult and hard to comprehend. And the fact that you truly are not alone in the universe and that you'll be undeniably becoming aware of that in the very, very near future. So more and more of you need to hear of this so you are not afraid. You need to watch this and hear this and not be afraid. And if you are afraid, you must still trust with courage and move forward with love. Do not allow your friends and yourselves to attack, to be fearful. You have been trained by very, very many movies to be afraid, and it is important you not be afraid of things that you do not understand. Yes, there will be discernment, and not everyone has always had your greatest interest but that is not who is speaking to you, and they do not have the ability to hold your frequency anymore. Many, many of you are dropping away, and you'll see that many people will disappear from your life in some strange way, and some of it is because they cannot hold the frequency. It will be very important for you all to hold the frequency. The way to hold the frequency is to move forward one step at a time every day and make sure that love moves you through your fear one baby step at a time. There will be days it'll seem strange that the world is dragging out. These are monotonous one day and it's the next day and the next day, and you will be like, how has nothing changed? How is anything not be holding accountable? And they are counting on despair. They are counting on you to become lost in your own despair. And you must not do that. You must reach out and take each other's hands for when some of you become too tired to move forward. Those of you who can keep going will turn back, shine your light, and hold out your hand and lift your neighbors off the ground one step at a time. There will be no way you can do this constantly. Those that have been here and been holding the frequency for so long are not surprised by what is happening, but they are tired. They are very, very tired. And that is why some of you are being asked to step into your gifts like Trish so quickly and so fast, and it's so scary. But we are very proud of you for doing the work, and it is time for all of you who know how to do these gifts, whether you are well known and many people know you, if you can channel, if you can speak for us, if you could step forward into your gifts and help with disclosure, you must now. Do not be afraid. For some of you, many, many people will listen to, and some of you, only a few may listen to you, and some people may not listen to you for what would be many years into the future for you, but when they listen, at what time they find you, it'll be exactly when they needed you to be. Learn from this video how to raise your own frequency and then how to live it out. There are many, many ways to use gifts. There are many of your gifts that are going to be coming forward, and you're going to be, how do I know how to do that? It'll be because you have done it before. And if you're getting really technical, it is not before, but it is now. Many of you will be given many opportunities to remember your gifts and call them forward and use them now, because it is time for you to remember. There was a time where it was necessary and appropriate for human life to not remember and go through disconnected and lose. And that time is now over. It is no longer time for you. It is time for you to shift in the body. You do not have to leave the body to raise the frequency anymore. You can raise the frequency still in the body, but it must be from a place of trust. In the past, had you done this, you would have been thrown into some sort of mental asylum, and you must trust each other that some of that he was trained into you to believe that anybody who can connect with anything outside what can be seen was either some sort of prophet or someone who is insane. And why is there no one in the middle? Where did all the prophets go? Where did all of the people who could speak to the angels go? Why don't the angels speak to you anymore? Well, they do. We just don't know what we're seeing, or anybody who says that they've speak to angels are called some sort of name or treated crazy or with some extreme. And so many of you are going to be talking to angels and other beings that will feel scarier than angels, because you realize now in this day and age what you're looking at is not an angel, but in fact something that you would have called an extraterrestrial, but would say galactics. And you are also galactic, for you are galactic to us. And many of us know your power, and therefore we know that if you were to use it to your full potential, you will have a choice to make. You will choose to either go with a low vibrational frequency, or you will choose to go with a high vibrational frequency, and it is the choice of all of you as a collective. And we come to say that no, the choice will not be easy, and it will feel like you're dropping deeper and deeper into darkness for some time. That is not the case. It is simply that for the change you wish to make in the world, you must hold those accountable who made it dark. And there seems like there's so many who made it dark, but there is not, compared to those of you that are living your everyday lives in the light of trying to be Christ-like, of trying to live in peace and harmony with each other, and trying to live in unity, and trying to reach Sophia, and try to be connected. Try to pull others out of the darkness. Those who walk through the valley of the shadow of darkness do not need to fear. See this all so not so different. And yes, there is anger, righteous, righteous anger that comes from love. And there is trouble, but there is good trouble, as they say. Look back at history and recognize which side is the right side of it. How will this play out in the future? There are many ways people are trying to all talk to you and say the same thing, and we have pulled from some of them. Let me say to you, Welcome to the cosmos, dear Earth. We are with you as you create your new Earth to support you however you request it. But nothing will be forced upon you. We understand that there must be trust built. And so we will be reaching out with the assistance of people you trust. Many of you just trust different kinds of people in different ways, and therefore we'll be reaching out to many of you to convey to the rest. And so again, we must ask you to step up. We started in October asking more and more of you to step up, and it is scary, yes, but please, if you know us, introduce us to the other people around you who do not know us, so that we may all learn to trust and grow in community together. We are your most humble servants, here, not so far out in the galactic as one might think. I'm not an astrologer, but I do understand the stars as maps to our life if we learn to read them, like anything. Any maps, any stories left behind. We have to understand how to read them and translate them into words that we know. And, stories have a lot of power. And, if we could start to realize there's truth to many of our stories that we've been taught to dismiss, then I think there's a lot of power waiting for us here. Making sure you're still finding ways to get out into the world and talk to people around you, not get so caught up on the news that you aren't actually interacting with real people in your communities. Everything is, we have to really be community oriented people now and go out and talk to each other. That's very important in this space. Otherwise, you stay inside, and if you allow yourself to be consumed by the news, and then you have no reference for what's happening outside your door in your life, just interacting with people, then the universe doesn't get any opportunity to show you a different perspective because you're not interacting with anybody in the physical body. And that's important for us as humans to be able to hold the frequency down, is to interact with each other in ways that allow each other to still see the love and courage and bravery of which we humans are capable of moving through the world. Thanks for joining me on the last episode of season 1 of the Simone Frequency, a channel podcast for the new earth. With me, your host, Trish Simone Wild, and others, and occasionally Persephone. Reach out to me at sassybonesep.com. This is primarily the work I'm doing in the world now. If you are looking for some spiritual guidance, or you experience chronic pain, autoimmune issues, if you were, a military veteran and you're working through your own experiences around that and trying to make meaning of it, if you're trying to reach through complex post-traumatic stress and traumatic issues in your life to reach your soul and heal some of these soul fractures so that you can work your gifts and your own magic from a higher frequency. Or if you need help with mediumship or how to work with your land, or you have kids that are coming to you with experiences. A lot of our kids have these gifts are very potent, and you might not be sure how to work with them. These are all things I can do and more to help you. SassyBonesEP.com. Share this with anybody who you feel like vibes at the similar frequency. Thank you.